Pause.
Hello guys, and welcome to another video. This is Kemi A. Before we get into the video, please like and subscribe. Oh, and my voice is raw on this thing, because I am using Natural Reader to do this stuff, and it kinda sounds like I'm in a Plotagon universe, but who cares? Anyways, onto the video. Enjoy.
Settings. Your travel. Selected. Road trip. 700 road trip. 2,000 miles.
Using 1 coin
Voice
to
over
play.
off.
You have 11 coins left. To get more coins, press buy or upgrade game. To go back to the main menu, swipe up with 3 fingers. Starting road trip. 2,000 miles. You will hear your cards in my voice.
You will hear the computer's actions in my voice.
You are playing with Amy, who is a poor player. Dealing your cards. Dealing Amy's cards. Dealing a card to discard pile. You have 6 cards. 50. 75. 50. Repairs. 75. 100.
Voiceover on. Your settings. Done. Get background music. Background alert. Mute. Cancel. Post. Less talk and sound effect. Choose sound effects for card. Ding for card. Use discard. Number of cards. Number alert. 6. 8. But. Post my new high. Less talk and sound effect. Common settings. Set. Number. Use discard pile when deck is empty. Use discard. Use to alert. On. But. Use to done. Button. Road. Car. Current game. Car game. Road trip. 2.
Using 1 coin
Direct
to play.
area. Voiceover off.
To go back to the main menu, swipe up with 3 fingers. Starting road trip. 2,000 miles. You are playing with Bob, who is a good player. Dealing your cards. Dealing Bob's cards. Dealing a card to discard pile. You have 8 cards. Stop. 100. 100. 75. Out of gas. 100. 50. 100. Discard pile. Top card is go. It's your turn. Draw. You drew repairs. 1. Out of 150. 100. Repairs. You discarded repairs.
Bob drew a card from the deck. Bob played go.
You drew more gas from more gas. You discarded more gas. You drew go from the go. You played go.
Bob drew a card from the deck. Bob played power repairs.
You drew go from the deck. 100. Out of gas. 100. You played 100.
Bob drew a card from the deck. Bob played crash on you.
You drew stop from the 1. Out of 1. Stop. 100. Out of gas. You played out of gas on Bob.
Bob drew a card from the deck. Bob discarded repairs.
You drew go from stop. You discarded stop. You drew 100. 1. You discarded. You drew go from. You discarded. You drew 7. You discard. You drew go from. You discard. You drew 100. You discard. You drew 75. You discarded. You drew more. You have traveled 100.
Bob has traveled 200 miles.
1. Go.
Bob has traveled 200 miles. And played 200 miles cards. Power card power repairs. Bob cannot go because of or out of
1. More. You discarded more gas. You drew 100. 100. You discarded 1. You drew end of limit. You discarded end. You drew go from go. You discard. You drew 20. 20. You discard. You drew 70. 7. You discard. You drew stop. Stop. You played stop on Bob.
Bob drew a card from the deck. Bob discarded end of limit.
You drew 100. 100. You discard. You drew repair. Repairs. You played repairs.
Bob drew a card from the deck. Bob played speed limit on you.
You drew new tire.
Voiceover on. Your set help. Current car road trip. 2,000.
Using 1
Voiceover
coin to
off.
play. To go back to the main menu, Swipe up with 3 fingers. Starting road trip, 2,000 miles. You are playing with Amy, who is a poor player. Dealing your cards. Dealing Amy's cards. Dealing a card to discard pile. You have 8 cards. Stop. Power gas. New tire. Repairs. End of limit. 100. More gas. 25. Discard pile. Top card is 25. You drew 50 from the power gas. You played power gas. You drew 70. 100. Repairs. End of limit. 1. More gas. 25. 50. More gas. 75. You discarded. You drew more gas. More gas. You discarded. You drew more gas. More gas. You discarded. You drew end of limit. End of limit. You cannot play. You discard. You drew speed. Speed limit. You played speed limit on Amy.
Amy drew a card from the deck. Amy played 50.
You drew stop. End of limit. Stop. You played stop on Amy. You drew end of limit. Stop. You played stop on Amy.
Amy drew a card from the deck. Amy played end of limit.
You drew go from the end of limit. Go. You played go.
Amy drew a card from the deck. Amy played power go.
It's, you drew go from the deck. More, 50, 21, repair, 100. You played 100.
Amy.
You drew 100. End of, go. 100. Go, end of limit. Go, 100. You played 100. You drew stop from the, stop. You cannot play stop because Amy is protected by a power card. You cannot play stop because Amy is protected by a, you discarded stop. You drew new tire from the deck. Go. End of limit. End of limit. More gas. 50. You played 50.
Amy drew a card from the deck. Amy played 100.
It's your turn. Draw a end of limit. You drew 50 from the deck. End of limit. Go. New tire. 50. You played you drew 50 from the deck. 50. You played you drew 100. End of go. New tire. 100. You played 100. You drew repairs from the repairs. New go. End of limit. Go. New tire. Go. End of more gas. 25. You played 25. You drew 100 from repair. More gas. You cannot play 100 because you have traveled 475 miles. Power card power gas. You cannot go because of a new go. New tire. You played new tire. You drew 25. New tire. Go. You played go.
Amy drew a card from the deck. Amy played 50.
You drew new tire. New. End of limit. New. 100. You played 100. You drew 50 from new tire. 50. You played 50. You drew 100. New tire. 100. You cannot play one. You have traveled 6. New tire. 25. Repairs. You cannot play new tire. End of limit. End of limit. More gas. You cannot play. You have traveled 625 miles. Power card power gas. You cannot go until a go card. End. New. Repair. 20. New tire. 100. New. 20. New tire. Repairs. New. End of limit. You discarded. You drew crash from the new tire. 100. Crash. You played crash on Amy.
Amy drew a card from the deck. Amy played power repairs and scored a power up.
You drew end of limit from 25. You discarded. You drew 100. 100. End of limit. You discarded. You drew crash from crash. You discarded. You drew more gas. You discarded. You drew 100. You discarded. You drew 70. You cannot play 75. You discarded. You drew 100. 1 more. 1 and new new tire. You cannot play new tire.
Amy drew.
You drew 50 from the deck. Repairs.
Voiceover on. Here's travel card programming. No active. Resume button. Road trip.
Using one coin to
Voiceover off.
play. To go back to the main menu, swipe up with 3 fingers. Starting road trip. 700 miles. You are playing with Bob, who is a good player. 25. Speed limit. You drew stop from the deck. 20. More gap. New 20. Go. 100. Repair. 1. Go. You played go.
Bob drew a card from the deck. Bob played go.
You drew 75. 20. New more gas. 25. Speed limit. 20. More. New 21. Repair. 100. You played 100.
Bob drew a card from the deck. Bob played 200.
You drew power stop. 70. Power repairs. You played power repairs.
Bob drew a card from the deck. Bob played stop on you.
You drew 50 from 7. Stop. You played stop. You drew 200 from the deck. 20. New. More. 20. Speed limit. You played speed limit on Bob. You drew go from more. To go. You played go. You drew more gas. 75. Repairs. 50. 200. You cannot play 200 because your speed is limit. 20. New. More. 20. You discarded. You drew 25. New. 25. Repair. 70. 50. You played 50. You drew 50. More. 50. You played.
Bob has traveled 400 and.
You have traveled 200 miles. You drew more gas. 20. More gas. You discarded. You drew speed limit. You played speed limit on Bob. You drew 100. More gas. You discarded more gas.
Bob drew a card from the deck. Bob played 200.
Game is over. Using one coin to play. Starting game 2. Dealing your cards. Speed limit 50. Speed limit 7. Speed end of crap. Go 50. You drew 50 from go. You played go.
Dave drew a card from the deck. Dave played go.
You drew more gas from 50. More gas. 50. Crash. End of limit. Speed limit. 70. Speed limit. 75. You played 75.
Dave drew a card from the deck. Dave played flat tire on you.
You drew more gas. End of crap. 50. More gas. 50. Crash. End of crash. You played crash on Dave. You drew repair. More gas. You discarded. You drew go from go. You cannot play repairs. More 50. End of speed 50. You discarded 50. You drew 100. Speed limit. You played speed limit on. You drew more gas. 50. More repair. Go. 100. More gas. You discarded. You drew 20. 25. You discard. You drew 70. You discard. You drew stop. You played stop on Dave. You drew go from more gas. You discard. You drew power. Go. Power repairs. You played power repairs. You drew go from go. You cannot play go. You discarded. You drew crash. Crash. You played crash on Dave. You drew 70. 75. You discard. You drew go from. You discard. You drew 50. You can. You discard. You drew go. You discarded. You drew stop. You cannot play stop because Dave cannot go. You discard. You drew 7. You discard. You drew 20. You discard. You drew go from. You cannot. You discard. You drew 200. You cannot play go. Go. 50. Go. You discard. You drew 50. 2. Go. 2. 50. You discard. You drew 20. You discard. You drew more. More gas. You cannot. You discarded. You drew 200. You discard. You drew 100. You discard. You drew 20. You discard. You drew 70. 7. You discarded 70. You drew flat tire from the deck. Flat tire. You cannot play flat tire because Dave cannot go. 100. You discarded. You drew new tire. You played new tire. Go. You drew repairs from the deck. You played go. You drew 150. Repair. 200. You played 200.
Dave drew a card from the deck. Dave discarded 100.
You drew 25. Flat. 50. 50. End of limit. 100. You played 100. You drew end of limit. 20. Repair. End of limit. 50. 50. Repairs. End of limit. 50. You played 50. You drew go from the deck. Flat tire. 50. You played 50. You have traveled 475. You drew go from the 20. 25. You played 20. You drew out of gas from the go. Out of gas. Go. You played go. You drew end of limit. Out of gas. You discarded out of gas. You drew repairs. End of go. End of repairs. Flat tire. Repair. End of limit. Speed limit. You cannot play speed limit because Dave is protected by a power car. You discarded speed limit. You drew 70. End of limit. Go. End of repair. 75. You played 75. Out of cards. Moving discard pile to deck and shuffling the deck. You drew go from the deck. Go. Repairs. You discard. You drew new tire from the new. You cannot play new tire go. New tire. You discarded new you drew 100. You played 100. You drew go from the deck. You have traveled 675 miles. Go. Go. End. Go. End of limit. You discard. You drew new tire. Repairs. Go. Go. New tire. You cannot play. You discard. You drew 75 from the. Here are the remaining cards in the deck. Distance 50, 2 cards. Distance 100, 5 cards. Speed limit, 2 cards. More gas, 6 cards. Distance 75, 4 cards. New tire, 1 cards. End of limit, 1 cards. Distance 25, 6 cards. You cannot play 75. You discard. You drew 50. 50. You discard. You drew 200. You discard. You drew go from the deck. Now. You cannot play go. You cannot play go because you must remedy the problem. You have traveled 670. Go. Go. Repair. End of limit. Go. End of repair. Flat tire. Repairs. You discarded repairs.
Dave drew a card from the deck. Dave played 25.
Using 1 coin to play. Out of gas. Repairs. Out of gas. You drew go from the deck. 70. More gas. Set. End of crap. Repairs. Go. You played go. You drew 75. Repairs. Crash. You played crash on Amy. You drew 50 from end of limit. Repair 75. You played 7. You drew go 50. Go 50. You played 50. You drew new time. Repair 75. You played. You drew go from new. Go. You played. You drew 1. Go. You played go. You drew 50. 100. You played 100. You drew 75. Repairs. End of limit. More gas. Out of gas. You played out of gas on Amy.
Amy drew a card from the deck. Amy played more gas.
You drew go from the repair more end new 50 7 new 75. You played 75. You drew 200. Go 200. You played 200. You drew power. Go. Power go. You played power go. You drew 75. Go. 75. You played 75. You drew go from the deck. 50. New 50. You played 50. You scored 700 points for distance, 100 points for power cards, and 0 points for power-ups. You scored an additional 400 points for a completed trip. Your total score is 1,200 points.
Amy scored 425 points for distance, 200 points for power cards, and 0 points for power-ups.
You scored 1,200 points, and beat your prior high score of 775 points. Congratulations! You should post your score to Twitter or Facebook by tapping the screen twice with 2 fingers. Swipe up to play again, or swipe up with 3 fingers to return to the main menu.